Alright, so first things first, we got this deck piece, and then we've got the superstructure base. So first off, just going to wipe up some excess glue that's on my workspace, and then we're going to attach this deck with 4 PB screws. Now I also added a small dab of glue into some spots on the deck plate just because I was a little afraid of warping, but it's not recommended in the instructions. It's just something I'm concerned about, but probably isn't a problem. So you do you when it comes to that. So as we flip it over, we have 4 screw holes. Alright, and with the deck down, next we're going to add the protective walls. As you can see, there's 2 of them, one for port, one for starboard. So you want to verify that they fit in the proper pegs on the proper side. And you want that kind of 45-degree section going to the back. So if that's at the back, you know you've got the right one. So I'm just applying some glue to the pegs as we've been doing. And as always, you don't want to be stingy, but you don't want to be crazy so that the glue wells up onto the deck and you get mess on your deck. And I think I just made an unintentional double entendre, for which I will not apologize. I'm also adding glue to the holes because when I did the water breaks, I had a problem getting one of the shields to stay in properly and eventually re-glued it. So I'm just adding it a little extra in the sockets just based on my previous experience. So that's one, and then the second one is exactly the same. Test fit's good, so then let's just apply some glue. And same as before, I'm just adding some into the sockets just to make sure I don't end up with a loosey-goosey shield. And there we go. So next we have these two skylights on a sprue. They're going to go in the corner there of each of the shields. So we're going to take our nippers and I'm going to carefully cut them off. So I'm just going to use my toothpick and put some glue in the little holes. Now the skylight has two pegs on the bottom, so they're virtually identical in either orientation. So simple enough. We're just going to rinse, repeat on the other side. Now I'm doing this with my hand, but if the tweezers make it easier for you, then as I will say, you do you and don't worry about what I do. Next we've got these 3 barrel containers. They're going to fit into the holes on the deck at these locations. I'm sorry, there's actually 4, not 3. So they're all exactly the same. So it really doesn't matter which one goes where. The only thing you need to make sure of is they've got little handles molded onto them, and you want those in the proper direction facing away from the shield. So just dab in some glue with a toothpick. Now I accidentally dabbed it into a hole for a railing. I actually did clean that out later. So then get it fitted in there properly. And then we're going to do the same thing for the other ones. Alright, with that done, next we're going to be adding details to the sides of the superstructure. So next we have parts A1, A2, and A3. They're not labeled exactly what they are, but I assume they're rain covers, or what you call them, awnings. Now, at some point in here, I make a huge mistake, and I'm going to point it out to you, because I did not cut one properly and ended up cutting the peg off, which is entirely my fault, because I had just recently built a Gundam kit and had forgotten that Agora, and by virtue of this being a Hachette Park Works originally, they do their molding on the sprues a little different. Anyhow, so we're going to put some glue in the hole, and that is A1. A1 is a C-shaped one, and it just fits like so. A2 is going to fit into that rectangular slot next to the 2 portholes. And I believe A2 is the one I cut the peg off of. So this is me now noticing my mistake. And I'm trying to see what I can do to remedy it after I make sure I've got the orientation right. Now essentially this was a fairly easy fix. My experience building old school model cars and airplanes, I eventually just fused it on there the old school way just by applying enough glue and then cleaning it up later. And then part A3 will go on this corner over here. And as you can see, A2 fell off because it doesn't have that guide peg. And that's me just trying to stick it there with the glue that I've already applied just to see if I can get it to hold itself in place until I could do a proper fix. So just remember to take your time, check your cuts before you make them, and don't rush and be all cocky like I was. So as you can see, now I'm just going to add enough glue to hold the entire thing in place as opposed to just the peg going in. And will it be perfect? Probably not, but it's also these small imperfections that sometimes make these truly yours. Alright, so next we're going to take the rain guards marked A4, and they're going to fit into 3 more slots on the same side. And this time you can see me being much more careful with my cuts, as I should have been from the get-go. Then toothpick, glue, and I'm just going to add it to the slots for these. And I may just cut in here with some music so you don't have to listen to me repeat the same thing for more rain guards on the port side. Next, we're going to be doing a door and 2 storage lockers. We're going to remove them from the sprue. Alright, so I'm going to apply glue to those 2 holes, and then storage locker B3 will fit into those. That's what the instructions say it is, and so we'll go with it. So then we've got a door. Now with your door, you want to be very careful that you have the hinges in the proper direction. And since we're on the, I believe we're on the port side, you want your hinges going to the left. And you'll see in the socket recess for the door, I believe there is molded in lines for the hinges to sink into. So finally, we'll put some glue in this rectangular slot for the other storage locker. And I'm just making sure I've got my orientation right. In the instructions, you want the handle facing on the left side. So then we're going to turn it around to the starboard side, and then we're going to insert another door and another locker on this side. And that'll be locker B5 and door B4. And that rhyme was absolutely unintentional. So then I'm just going to trim some excess plastic off. I don't know why the camera's struggling so hard to focus. So then our storage locker is going to go into those 2 holes. And just like the locker on the other side, you want the handle on the left-hand side. Just like that. And as for the door, it's going to be the same situation, except you want the hinges on the right side this time, because we're on the starboard side instead of the port side. And again, if you have an easier time with tweezers, like you said, use your tweezers, you do you, if you're building your own Bismarck. And with those installed, then all we have are parts B6 and A2. So B6 is going to go near the rain guard, one of the rain guards we installed earlier. So we're going to put glue into these two holes. And then part B6 looks like a pair of boxes, and you want the larger box on the left. Guessing maybe these are electrical boxes or something, or more storage lockers. I'm not sure. The instructions do not say, but the big cable going into them makes me think it's an electrical junction. And then with those installed, well, I'm just going to drop this onto this piece of deck with the Bruno barbette, and that's everything for that pack. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back for stage 22.